Hey guys, what's going on? It is Chris Killey, and today we are going to tackle the dreaded PCI Compliance survey. So this is something that has to be done once a year, and everybody with a merchant ID has to do it. So if you're with Square, PayPal, any of the money movers out there, you don't have to do it. That's a whole other story. We can talk about that another time. But when you have a big boy merchant account, you need to do it. So this is the screen. We're going to walk through it in MX. So this is the screen that you are going to see every single time you log into MX until it's been completed. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and click Go to Compliance. Okay. What that is going to do is going to take you into the settings here, which is going to say my status is non-compliant. As you can see, history. This is a brand new demo account. So we are going to activate the Control Scan app, which will take you to the Marketplace app. So if you want to find this another way, you can come into Apps, and then you can come into Control Scan, which is right here. Activate that. Would you like to activate Control Scan? Okay, let's do it, right? So it's going to take you to the Control Scan. So we're going to try that. So we're going to go ahead and create the user. Okay, so I'm going to save the password because we're going to use this again. Priority Payment Systems is requesting your access to the Control Scan account. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to allow that. So we'll go ahead and click that. That's going to be the facilitator of the PCI compliance. So we're going to come down here. We're going to then go to, so we have the app that's activated successfully. Okay, now we're going to come back to the Control Scan. We'll hover over it where it says Sign In. Select that. Okay, so we have the terms of use here. You can go ahead and read those. I recommend that you read those, just like any other agreement that you would sign. So down here we have Compliance Overview. The news that they have in here that's going to open up. We don't need to worry about that right there. PCI Resources, FAQs, Video Tutorials. Here's another one. We're going to do the tutorial right now. So we're going to come back into Compliance Overview. And I agree. Continue. Okay, so the questionnaire has not been started. Down here, this is where we are going to start my questionnaire. All right, so these are going to be a bunch of yes, no, and not applicable questions. So keep in mind, companies like Target, Walmart, TGI Fridays, massive companies have to take this. You've heard of data breaches and things like that, and this is what this is. This is essentially going to be a network scan. Now, most of our customers, right, you're going to either be using the MX mobile app with the card reader, or you're going to be using the MX portal. So a lot of these security questions in here are not going to be applicable to you. So we're going to go ahead and go through that way, and we're going to show you. It's not as intimidating as it appears. So when in doubt, not applicable. But you're going to watch me do it now. Okay. So we're going to go ahead. Here's the introduction down here at the bottom. I'm going to click Next. All right. So we've got the address here, got everything like that. Chris Killey, that's me. Contact website, blah, 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 blah. Contact email is required. Oh, there we go. All right, so we're going to save that. I'm going to go to next. Now, so enter my merchant type. Okay, so we specialize in home service contractors. Okay, so there's a very high likelihood if you're watching this that you are a home service contractor. If that is the case, you are going to find your industry in here. You're not going to be under dance, not healthcare, education, home goods and services. So we got this, electrical parts and equipment. You're going to find the one that's closer. A lot of you guys are going to fall into the general contractors, even though you may not be a GC. This is, you can take that for what it's worth. Essentially, it's a large bucket. We'll say that. So you can go down through if you want to take a look at all of these. These are in here. So what we're going to do, just for fun at this time, I'm going to take it as if I am a general contractor. Okay. So that way you can see this. So we go ahead and we select that. So merchant types, then down here in the bottom, I'm going to select Next. Qualifications. Okay, great. So payment terminal. this is a standalone device not connected to a computer. So this would be like a VX520 or an ICT 220 that is literally standalone, maybe plugged into the internet, but it's not plugged into a USB. Also, your card readers, the Bluetooth card readers that sync to your phone via Bluetooth, that's going to fall into these as well. So, virtual terminal, that's going to be MX. So if you're using the MX in any way, shape, or form, you're going to check that as well. Point of sale terminal, that's going to be, you've seen these at restaurants, essentially, right? Retail stores are starting to carry them as well. So those are going to be, if it's installed on a computer, not the gateway, not the virtual terminal, but if it's actually like a like something that you would see in the store. Shopping cart, that's going to be for e-commerce. Phone and paper, that's if you use a manual imprint machine. I don't know anybody who still does that. P2P encryption, whole nother story right there. Smartphone or tablet, so that is going to be, if you use a smartphone or tablet, an app. So, we are going to select for MX, we're going to select smartphone and tablet. Okay. Now, if you say Wi-Fi or cellular wireless. So, for instance, if you're doing this in-house, Wi-Fi, but most of you guys, if you're using the smartphone or the tablet, you're going to be using this on a wireless connection because you're going to be in somebody's house, you're going to be out in the field. So we're going to go back and we're going to take a look what the virtual terminal looks like as well. So that's if you're not using the app. Okay. So virtual terminal, manual entry. You have a card reader connected to the computer. That's not a lot of you. An encrypted card reader. That would be if you were to use that, an encrypted card reader. That would be you would purchase from us. A regular card reader is just going to be a mag stripe. Encrypted card reader is going to take the chip. We don't even sell the regular card readers anymore. So it's going to be manual entry if you're only using the virtual terminal. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do the survey this way. Do you want to add another processing method? Yes. We're going to add another processing method, okay? And then we are going to come down here to smartphone tablet. So this is going to be the two. All right, so we have a virtual terminal and a smartphone tablet. We're going to go over cellular wireless because you're going to be out in the field. So then now we are finished adding processing methods. Does your business electronically store credit card numbers? The answer to this is going to be no. Like, do you have a software that, that holds them, right? So, are you putting them in a Word document, something like that? I don't recommend you doing that, right? There's a huge security violation on that. So if you're not storing them electrically, i.e. having them on demand to process later, the answer is going to be no. Select. Okay, eligibility. Based on your answers, you qualify to complete a shortened version. This is great news. That means we're not going to be here all day. So do you agree with the above statements? Go ahead and read them. I say yes. Okay. Does your business not use or allow any remote administrative access? This is if you use any type of remote logins. If you do, then you're going to select yes. If you don't know what that is, then the answer is going to be no. I would imagine most of you are not going to do remote. This does not mean logging in from another computer with a password. This would be like an actual VPN. So, remote login where you can actually control the entire machine. So, I would also go down here at this point, select the auto advance, turn that to on. It's going to be a lot faster for us that way. So to start that, we'll go next. Your computer does not have a wireless network connected to the card-holded data environment. So that would be if you are not on a Wi-Fi, right? Which is probably going to be none of you. Unless you are hardwired to the wall. So, for instance, my computer here, I don't keep it on the Wi-Fi. We do have a Wi-Fi in the building, obviously, but I keep mine hardwired because it's more secure. So for me, I will go false. If you are connected to Wi-Fi and not hardwired, the answer is going to be true. All right. So now we come here, antivirus software. If you don't, you should absolutely have that. Antivirus programs are this basically means you have an active, so true. If your organization uses systems considered to be rarely affected, that is true. Okay. Antivirus software and definitions are kept current. Again, this is all common sense, guys. You should have a wireless, you should have a antivirus software, and you should keep it active and updated. Automatic updates and programs. Yep. Antivirus generates audit logs that 1 year. Again, if you're using, like a McAfee or any of the other ones out there, all this is going to be available. they're actively running and cannot be disabled or altered by users. Okay, so that's going to be not applicable for this one because, for instance, you could go in and, you could temporarily disable them if you wanted to. You could uninstall. So all system components are protected from known vulnerabilities. Again, having up-to-date virus software. All right, critical security patches are installed with them. Again, going back to that. Process to identify, again, this is coming back into just keeping your stuff up to date. A lot of this stuff is really redundant, but I mean, hey, this is America nowadays, right? Completion of significant change. All requirements are implemented correct. Access to privileged user IDs are restricted as followed. So this would be whenever you're setting up, different user accounts, make sure you just have the ones you're not giving everybody keys to the castle. You're not giving everybody administrative access. Access is assigned based on individual classification and function. Again, you're not going to give a tech out in the field administrative access unless they have, a need to access all the reports on the back end. Appropriate facility controls. Entry are placed. Okay, this can get a little confusing here. Do you have a lock on the door? There you go. That's the easiest, simple way. True. Video cameras and/or access controls are in place to monitor individual access to sensitive area. Do you have a security system? If yes, the answer is true. If you don't, the answer is going to be false. So we have a security system here in the building, in the office, and everywhere. Video cameras and/or are protected from tampering or disabling. Could people come up and disable your cameras? I mean, I guess any time, that could be exampled. However, we're going to go with common sense here. We're going to go with true. If you don't have cameras, it's going to be false. Data collected from video cameras are reviewed and correlated with other entries. Okay, so this doesn't mean you have to watch them every single day. What this means is that if there's an incident, you're going to be able to watch it. So true. Again, not applicable if you don't have cameras. Data collected is stored for at least 3 months. Everything's on the cloud for us. Again, if you're using something on a hard drive or a server somewhere else, I'm not sure what the answer is going to be. If you're not using cameras, not applicable. Physical access is restricted. Again, you want to make sure that, not everybody has access to your thing. So for us, it's a password. If you have a server, you're going to want to make sure that they have that there's a security on there, which you should anyway. Media is physically secured. Okay, that means, that the access, you can't just easily remove this. Strict control is maintained over the external or distribution of any type of media. I mean, are you allowing people to have access to your system so can they export folders and take it, anywhere without your information? Media is classified so the sensitivity can be determined. Are you password protected? Essentially, for us, we are. If not, a lot of the stuff here, guys, could be not applicable, right? If you're a small shop and you just don't have a lot of things going on, and in terms of from like an administrative, if you're doing everything in house, and there's not a ton of things going off, you're looking at not applicable on here, okay? So the false comes in if you do have this, these types of media and things like that, and you don't have any protection on them. But if you're not, and when they say media, they mean data. So, it's sent, if you're sending it out, it needs to be tracked. So if you're sending a hard drive or a flash disk or something like that, you're sending it through UPS, make sure you get a tracking number. If you don't do that kind of stuff, not applicable. Management approval is attained to moving. It's going to be true or not applicable. Strict control is maintained over the access. True. So again, to harp on this, not trying to beat a dead horse here, but it's either going to be true or not applicable. If you're answering false to any of these, then you should probably look into your security because, then your site is your location is not very strict. So all media is destroyed when it's no longer for legal reasons. For destruction, hard copy stuff with social security numbers, credit card numbers, just in the trash without it. Containers that need to be stored or secured. We use like a service here. So we actually have a shredder that goes in, and then we have somebody that comes and picks it up whenever it's full, takes it away. Again, not applicable for a lot. Again, policies and procedure. The list of devices, you're not just letting anybody run. Procedures require periodically inspect to look for tampering or solutions. So, for instance, that's good. A lot of these are going to be true. Personnel are trained to beware. Basically, if you're taking payments, you're going to want to be looking for any abnormalities in the area, looking for not hackers, but people trying to break in. Make a model of device, location of device, serial number. this would be keeping a list of your equipment. Again, for insurance reasons, if you were to get robbed, you should have this anyway. List of devices and accurate and up to date. List of devices updated when devices are added. So yeah, I mean, again, this is just maintaining your records. Okay, device surfaces are periodically inspected. Personnel are aware of procedures for inspecting devices. Again, remember, these are questions that large companies are answering, right? If you have an IT department, like if you're large enough that you have to have an IT department, they're going to be handling all of this kind of stuff. If you don't, you should get a new IT department. But for the overwhelming majority of our customers here, a lot of the stuff is either going to be true or not applicable. So, for instance, this for me, not applicable for me. Personnel at point of sale device have received training. Do you guys know how to use it? Or are you letting the people that use it use it? So, true. All users are assigned a unique ID before allowing. Do you guys have a username? Is your computer or device password protected? Accounts used by vendors for remote access or only support. We're not going to do that for us. Vendor remote are monitored when in use. Not applicable for me. Repeated access attempts are locked out. Okay, so somebody keeps trying to put the wrong password in. Does your computer lock them out? Right? And if it should, they should. So once a user is locked out, this is going to be not applicable for us. Again, you guys, there's a lot of this stuff is common sense here. Users are logged out. You're not, if they're idle for more than 15 minutes, you're not allowing the computer to just stay open where anybody can jump on. Your computer's going to go to sleep after 15 minutes at least. After assigning more to authenticate, so if you give somebody a user ID, to log on, they're going to use a password. Yeah. Other password parameters are configured. So letters, numbers, this is basically just standard stuff nowadays, guys. Passwords are changed at least every day. So for me, that's going to be false, right? Because we don't change them every 90 days. Must submit a new password phrase that's different. That's true. Passwords are set to a unique value for the first time and reset. This is something that, whenever you log in to the system, from time to and issue the first password, they'll get the link whenever they log in to create a new password. So for us, we don't do that. We just tell them what the password is. Multi-factor this would be like if you sign in for the first time, you get a text message to confirm. True. Incorporated for all remote access. For me, we don't do remote access here. So authentication processes and policies are communicated to, basically, you're going to teach these people how to use the system if they're using it. God, I'm saying, yep. Group shared or generic accounts are prohibited. Okay, so if you're using a company login that multiple people have access to, you want to make sure that that you're not doing that for this survey. So true. Security policies and operational are documented in use and known to affect all parties. Perimeter firewalls are installed between the networks and the wireless networks. Okay, so if you're on a wireless network, right, you're not hardwired, do you have a firewall? If you don't, you should, because that's going to keep people out, right? So if you don't have a network firewall, control scan right here, if you go ahead and look over, they'll recommend somebody that can do it. We do have a firewall in here. This device is not connected, again, to Wi-Fi, but the ones that are in here, we use a firewall. If sensitive authentication is received and deleted, right, there are processes in place to verify that it's unrecoverable. So if you're going to send something to the trash can, do you clean out the trash can? True. After authorization, no system store the full content of any track or magnetic stripe under any circumstance. Okay, so this is saying that that you're going to use that you're not going to keep the cardholder data. So if you use the mag stripe, remember mag stripes, the magnetic stripe on the back of these, that's the technology is equivalent to a cassette tape. So the encrypted ones are easier, but you're still not saving the full information. So true. After authorizations, no cards store the verification code or value. Again, true. If you're using MX, we're going to take care of all of this for you. All right. Regarding non-storage of sensitive authentication data, after authorization, all systems adhere to not storing it. Again, you see where we're going with this? They don't like you holding it. Credit card number is masked when displayed. Same thing. So that's going to be the that's the redaction, the XXX, XXXX, XXX, and then the last 4. That's fine. Again, we're going to do all this for you. The industry best practices for again, we handle this for you. Firewall and router constricts. Okay, if you have a firewall, then that's what its job is for. True. Firewall and created to deny all inbound and outbound. Again, if you have a firewall and it's active, it's going to do its job. This is what it's supposed to be. Firewall configuration requires all outbound to be explicitly authorized. That means if somebody wants to get into your system, they're going to have to ask. Again, you're using a firewall that is readily available to the public. It's going to handle all this stuff for you. Only established connections. Again, vendor supply default passwords are always changed. Okay, so this would be if you have like an accountant, right, that's going to have remote access to this, or somebody else that's not. This is going to be, you want to make sure that it's secure. Unnecessary default accounts are removed or disabled before installing a system on the network. True. A lot of the stuff, guys, common sense. Configuration standards are developed for all system components and are consistent with industry accepted system handling standards. It's going to be true. System configuration standards are updated as well as new vulnerability systems. Again, your computer should be doing this for you, right? If you have system configurations are applied. True. Configuration standards, again, true. System configuration standards specify that one primary function is implemented per server. True. Virtualization technologies are used. Configuration standards specify that one primary function is implemented per virtual system. So this is not going to be applicable to us because we're not using virtualization technologies. All unnecessary functions have been disabled. True. All enabled insecure services protocols are justified. True. Computer's going to do this for you. Additional unless you go back and if you strip your computer down to nothing, then a lot of this stuff is going to be applicable to you, but most of us are not. So, true. System administrators can be knowledgeable. True. Common system security parameters are included. Again, true. Security parameters are set. True. Unnecessary functionality has been removed from all systems. True. Enabled functions are documented and support secure configuration. True. Only documented functionality is present on system components. That's going to be not applicable for us. Security policies and operational features for managing vendor defaults are documented. True. Strong cryptography and security protocols are in place. Again, true. Only trusted keys and certificates are true. Security protocols are implemented to use the only secure configurations and not support insecure versions of. Again, my computer does all this for me, and we didn't really do outside of the firewall and the virus protection. The proper encryption strength is included. Yep. SSL, true. Policies are in place that protect unprotected credit card numbers are not to be sent. True. Again, we're going to do all this for you from the MX portal. We handle most of the security on the back end, so almost all of it. You just need to follow common sense procedures. Give you some suggestions on how to change. So, for instance, this is you're going to want to take a look at this and get in compliance with it. Okay, great. To-do list is empty. Click on the next button. Okay, so I certify an authorized representative of the company. Okay, great. So I have completed my PCI. So now I am going to download my PCI. Now, keep in mind that next year, it's not going to be as difficult, right? So if nothing's changed, it's going to be some yes, no's, and basically is everything the same. First time's the hardest. Again, we have some tips and tricks here for you if you want to ever call in. We also can assist you in other ways with this. So again, feel free to call the office at any time. You can reach out to your account executive as well. The office number is 704-464-0395. Here's what the compliance looks like. Now, keep in mind, this is automatically going to update. So I would definitely save this, for your records. You can also log into Control Scan anytime you want. You can pull this down. But yeah, I mean, this is good. So again, this was fun, guys. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to the next time we get to interact.